All right, so not really an update video this week. I'm going to be doing a time-lapse drawing. I'm going to be doing a time-lapse, or I guess I've already done a time-lapse of this piece right here. But I recorded the whole process. It is one of the only, it is actually the only video that I've recorded, like a start to finish, like no joke, time-lapse of my work. And you know, I think it was good. Like, I'm doing all the social media stuff now, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite thing in the world to like record a time lapse of me doing every step of the process. And I'll get a little bit more into that later in the video, but I do think it's kind of important with so many people like rightfully questioning like artists' authenticity and, you know, being a little skeptical about, is something AI, is it not, is there something more nefarious going on? I do think that it's really good for artists to post like every step of their process. And I know that traditional artists kind of escape this just because, you know, we're a lot harder to touch, but you know, there's definitely some weirdos out there and some people doing goofy stuff. And so why not? I figured like, I'll just record my process. It's nothing, like, you know, just keep it low key and like talk about it. So like, I'm going to start playing that here and talk a little bit about the process. I'm also playing it right here. Like, I've got the video of me drawing so I can like react to it a little bit. But yeah, so typically when I'm starting to draw a face, like when I was initially learning how to draw, I was a big Loomis guy, like, and a little bit of the Riley method, of course, but like I loved the Loomis method. It just broke it down into like really, really easy to understand, but like very in-depth pieces. Like if for all of my non-art nerds, if you're like, you're just starting drawing a face, like first of all, you need to have a very like like decent understanding of like human anatomy and proportions, but it doesn't need to be that in depth. Like when you're just getting out and making characters that aren't supposed to like one-to-one match a reference, you need to know that like the construction of a face. You need to know that, you know, if your eye line begins about halfway down on the face. That's something that really threw me off when I was initially learning how to draw. It's like my eyes would end up like somewhere up here because you don't really think about like the face in those proportions just naturally from a non-artistic lens. You think of, or at least I didn't. But the eyes, you know, they start here and then it's big thirds. That's what we do. Third. And you'll see that with the start of this drawing. I feel like I'm going to do a really bad job of narrating like all the way. I'm motioning over here, but I know that I'm going to put it over here on the video. I think I'm going to do a bad job of like syncing what I'm talking about with what the video is doing. Like I'm looking now and they're playing at the same time. I'm already like shading the eyes and stuff like that. But you know, like I don't do a crazy amount of planning anymore with, the starting the construction and like gaining the proportions of my face, just because I don't really need it anymore. I've been drawing so long, and I've been drawing portraits for so long. I just map out, like, genuinely, like I have a reference photo. I'm skeptical of, like, I did have a reference photo for this. It was my face, and I'm skeptical if I'm gonna post it. Because it's weird. Like, it's a weird reference. My face is all contorted and I'm like doing a weird pose. I'll probably still post it. Why not? Like, yeah, I'll probably still post it because I'm trying to be like authentic with my process. So like, I'll put it like right here, like the actual reference photo that I was working from. But the point is, I'm rambling a little bit. Like, I don't need that many like hard lines. I don't do a true Loomis method anymore. Like, I gave this drawing an ear just because initially I thought that I was going to do Thenric, which is the character this is based off of, with his normal hair like back like this. But then I kind of decided, no, I think like I want this to be a little bit more disheveled. I want this to be like to evoke a little bit more emotion, as you'll see with the reference photo. So I ultimately left his hair down and I didn't even bother with the ear because like this is just a sketchbook. Like this isn't gonna go in my novel, I don't think. This is just kind of me doodling around. But yeah, so like you can see here, like I've done the eyes, which is typically how I typically tend to work. Is I will just circle like this. I work in circles like this around the face. So like I will plan out the face, like I'll get my eye line. I'll get like where the mouth placement's supposed to be, a general outline of the nose, and then I just go straight to just ballpoint pen, and I just kind of start working around the face in just like little circles. And again, you'll start to, you have already seen this as I've been working on it, but yeah, I think that the mouth is something that caused me probably the most problems, because when I was initially inking it, I was like, kind of off on my proportions, and I still think that at the end of the drawing I was a little off on the proportions, but like it turned out just fine. I haven't actually done the thing where I overlay this drawing onto my reference photo, because that's because it's tedious to do. Like I've got to put it into the computer, and usually I don't really care to do it, but sometimes just to like check my proficiency, I like to see how close my lines are to my original photo, just because it's just a cool thing to do. And like obviously, like no artist, okay, there are some who can actually, like, especially if you're playing out on a grid, you can get a 1-for-1 reference to like your reference photo. It's extremely rare. Like it's an extremely difficult thing to do. And like most of the time, if you're like trying to see if someone's like tracing, especially in like the digital art spectrum, like that's what you'll do, because like it's just like the curve of the line, like if you put these two together, like they're gonna look really similar because I've been doing this for a long time. But like if you were to like actually lay them on top of each other, like just lines are different because I'm not perfect, and I'm nowhere close to perfect as an artist. But the mouth was, I was able to kind of save it. And again, like I'm not going to keep this reference up because I'm really self-conscious, but I'll flash the reference photo again for this. But like I was really self-conscious because in the reference photo, you only see these two teeth, which seemed, showing teeth evokes a specific emotion that I kind of wanted to do. And it took a bunch of different photos. Like my camera roll was really weird for this because I took a bunch of different reference photos for this. And I tried to show my teeth a lot because like it evokes a certain sense of emotion. And I just couldn't get a picture that really I was really into. And I thought maybe I would contort my mouth a little bit in the drawing and add teeth. But ultimately I just kind of decided not to because I wasn't super confident in it. And I did start to like, at this stage, I kind of started to like where it worked out. Or started to like how it looked. So the mouth just kind of was very, very close to the photo. And like a lot of this was like this was very much me taking not that much like creative representation in like the drawing process, and more so like figuring it out from myself. And I think that's one of the interesting things. Like most of you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, that like I do base all of my characters, not all of my characters, but all of the characters that go in my novel have real life facial models. So if like Thenric is like, I used my facial model for Thenric, and like for Evenry, I don't know if I'm going to dig through all of my pieces because this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But Evenry is based off of my wife's face. Maybe I'll do something like I'll link a photo here, or like Vogmar, Captain Vogmar right here. Like most of you know, this is based off of my brother's face. And the reason that I do this is because like redrawability. I am not a concept artist. I am a traditional artist. I'm fairly like you guys can judge if I'm good at traditional art. I think that I've gotten pretty good, but redrawability in a character is actually something that's very, very difficult. And like you'll have comic artists that have to do this over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of frames. And like being able to maintain the structural integrity of a character's face and make it recognizable, like it's very, very difficult. And it's a lot easier if you're operating within like realism, but like if you're doing it with a lot less detail, you start to exaggerate certain details that subconsciously your viewer will associate with those characters. And for me, it's just a lot easier because I don't have that background to work from a real life facial reference. And so that's what I've done with like literally all of the characters in my book, because that way, if I am ever struggling, I can just go back to that actual character reference. And since it's a real person, if I'm ever struggling and I need a reference photo, I'll just be like, I'll text my brother and be like, hey man, can you send me a photo of like 3/4 angle of your face, or like, you know, straight on, up, down. Like I have, but because I'm not as good of just like imagining characters like that just on my own, I have like a myriad of references, and that speaks to my background as a more classical traditional artist. And like even with like, I guess I'm gonna hold up my sketchbook, but I'm putting it right there on the like the smaller version of Thenric. Like that's kind of hard for me because it's working on such a small scale that I get really in the weeds of like recognizability of the face when that's not really what you're supposed to be doing. And like I've done a lot of, The hair. I'm going to keep on this train of thought. I'm going to comment on the hair a little bit because we were flying by the seat of our pants with the hair because I just turned off my reference photo and I was just going for it. And I do salvage it. It actually looks pretty decent at the end here, but I'm not really happy with the way that I started on this. Anyway, oh man, I was saying something important and I don't want to edit out this video, which is really annoying. But yeah, drawing characters faces to scale, it can be difficult. And when we're talking about recognizability for Thenrik, a lot of what you're doing is outfits, is stuff that you can see from 100 feet away. You most people, if you don't know me, you wouldn't recognize me from 100 yards away, maybe by the way that I move, but that's a different conversation. But by what I'm wearing, you absolutely would. It's just, I'm saying things that everybody already implicitly knows. So when I was working on Thenrik, I wanted to focus a little bit more on his outfit and the repeatability of what he's wearing. And I don't want to say costume because it's not a costume, it's what he's actually wearing in my novels, but for lack of a better words, because I'm being really inarticulate right now. And so if you look at the small photo I have of Thenrik and then this one, I keep holding up these photos. I have pictures of all of these. I can just edit these into the YouTube video. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Thenrik, my book drawing, and then this, and all of the different drawings of him. His face is supposed to maintain its form, but also all of his outfits and his different postures. Recognizability is something that I don't have to worry about nearly as much as a comic artist, because across this series you might see 15 drawings of Thenrik, 20 drawings of Thenrik across the series. There's only 3 or 4 in the novel. It's this first novel itself, because this isn't a comic book. This is a novel that I happen to draw for because I love to draw. But yeah, really quickly going back to the video, because that's what I'm actually supposed to be doing. The hair, at this point in the video, I kind of took a step back because I was this looks a little weird. I didn't really have a plan for the hair. Obviously I know how to draw hair. It's really flat right now. I need to extend it at the back, which obviously I do later in the video. But that's the thing is, it's so hard because when I'm going into my sketchbook, I usually just don't care. And now that I'm showing my sketchbook to the world, I get all self-conscious about it, but it's okay. Everything, it's all okay. I started, I just moved away from it, which is something that I'll typically do. If something's not really working out in a piece, but I still think that the piece is salvageable, I'll just move to a different area of the piece and I'll just start working on that. So I start working on his neckline, and I don't put too much emphasis on his shoulder, because I know that I'm not focusing on anything down here. I just want to focus on Thenrik's face. And it's really funny because I do have a very specific scene in mind when I'm drawing this, and I can't tell you because I don't want to spoil anything, but I am thinking of something. This is a very specific scene that I'm thinking of when I'm drawing this. And but yeah, I had another thought in my head. And I need to remember what that thought was, or I'm just gonna sit here and ramble like a lunatic. But oh, yeah. Drawing. So I think that another interesting part of this is I've been recording, I recorded this video and I recorded my process when I was drawing this, which is actually really limiting. And I'm curious if there's any artists watching this, anyone who does this and has an art channel specifically. Drawing with a camera sucks. It genuinely, it sucks pretty bad. Oh, it's done. Okay, well, the drawing's done. But drawing with the camera, right here, you saw it early on in the video, my head keeps coming into frame because I get right freaking here when I'm drawing, because I'm drawing with a ballpoint pen, and it can be really difficult. And when I'm drawing, my canvas or my paper is all over the place. I'm drawing like this, and then I hatch in a certain way. And again, I know that this is a normal thing, but having a camera right here is actually really limiting because I have to be hyper diligent about making sure the piece is still in the frame. Whereas when I see like people on Instagram do it, it's like crazy. It's like so perfect. The canvas is already, or the paper is always oriented in the exact same direction. It's like super flowy. Like, I think recording your art process is an art in and of itself. And I'm really, really bad at it. Which is like, that's kind of a fun thing that I've discovered. And it really did kind of take the joy out of drawing a little bit for me. Like, it made it so much more tedious, and like my drawing is already very tedious. So, and it made it to where I can't work on this organically the way that I typically do. Whereas like, I don't really draw. Drawing is what I do with my family. When I'm like with my sons and when I'm with my wife, like I sit in the living room and I draw while my kids are beating up on each other. And like whenever we're watching a movie, I'm sitting and I'm drawing in my lap. Like, this is how I typically draw. And to draw like just so like to just sit here and just like focus on it when like try and make it to where like my pen isn't covering up the camera. It just took a little bit of the joy away from it. When it's like, I don't hate drawing. I love drawing now. Like, or I don't hate drawing now. I love drawing now. But like, it's probably not something that I want to do super often, or I just need to get better at like working around a camera, which I guess does make sense. That's probably something that just in general I need to get better at. But yeah, you know, so like I guess there's a little start to finish of me drawing this piece. If anyone had any questions about like how I start my process, I don't actually know how many questions I answered in this video. Like I said, I should not be thought of as a teacher. I am not a particularly good teacher, but I guess that's the video for this week. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. That's the video for this week. I hope it's super engaging and all of that stuff. Stick around for the process. Like, subscribe, all that stupid garbage. Thanks.